Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast, the number one industrial-related podcast in the universe. That is my story, and that is what I'm sticking to. It is dedicated to you, 100%, the manufacturers, the industrial professionals, the companies that get it done. You are bold. You are brave. You dare greatly. You are changing the world, and you are changing lives. That's why we celebrate you on this particular podcast. We love you. That's the bottom line. We just definitely love you. And you're saying to yourself, Scott, you always have great interviews. That's right. Damn right. I have always have great interviews. LaserCraft is the company. We've got two gents. Greg Claycomb. You're the president, right?
Yes, I am.
He's the big cheese. And then Dale Hawkins. He's the one that makes it happen. How's that, Dale?
Very good.
There you go. All right, let's get this show on the road. How you guys doing?
Doing well. And you?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. I am doing well. You know, Team Neo has been a fabulous host in this whole endeavor to come around in Northeast Ohio and visit great companies like you and others. Well, in short, I'm a big fan of Northeast Ohio. And everybody has great heads of hair. So I'm not sure if that's a prerequisite of coming up to Northeast Ohio because I'm failing miserably. All right, for the listeners out there, let's sort of just level set, and let's just talk a little bit about the company, your background, okay, and then we'll start venturing into some of the conversations. So give us a little 411 on your background there, Greg.
Prior to getting into laser cutting, I worked as a tool and die maker for General Motors.
No way.
I served my apprenticeship with GM. Worked at their facility in Brook Park, and then also worked at the Elyria GM plant. So I'd been through a layoff and a plant closing. So
that's pretty unfortunate and common.
When I had a chance to see my first laser cut at a company in Massachusetts, I said, this is what I want to do. So next time I'm out of work, it's going to be my own fault.
Now, granted, you've been in business for a long time.
32 years.
See, this is where the math starts to break down. You said you were with GM,
yes,
and you were with them for about 50 years, and then you got laid off, and then you had started this business, and you started this one for 30. Right off the bat, I'm at 80 years, and you look like you're, 42?
My time with them was 12 years.
Okay, well.
And there were so many people that said, why are you leaving the security at General Motors? I said I didn't feel secure.
Yeah, I was just going to say, absolutely, and I can understand it. Dale, give us a little background on your who you are, and your background.
Currently work as a quality manager, lean manufacturing engineer.
Love it.
Been with the company 15 years. Prior to that,
you were with the company for 50 years, and now all of a sudden, apparently, Northeast Ohio is very youthful. No.
Right. Prior to that, did a lot of applications engineering and process engineering for a different company. So.
It's interesting. There was a company, it was a medical company that I interviewed, and they, we talk about lean manufacturing, right? And they use Microsoft Teams to continue to do and they shifted to e-Kaizen. So they're able to do these Kaizen events with somebody carrying a camera on the process, and then the people are just wherever, they're remote, and then they're sitting there doing their Kaizen event remotely. That's innovation. Right. You guys innovate, baby. I love it. All right, just so that we understand a little bit, let's just address the elephant in the room real quick, and then we're going to venture into your business and what it's all about and why Northeast Ohio is an absolute wonderful location for manufacturing. COVID. So one day we were fine. Next day, COVID hits, or somebody hammers on the switch, and we get hit by the two-finger death punch. What did LaserCraft do?
The first part of the process was just gathering information. What do we need to be doing to keep our employees safe? Social distancing, cleaning surfaces. Hand sanitizer was a big thing. Well, when this first hit, Monday morning, I knew we needed hand sanitizer. You couldn't find it anywhere. I ran around to every drugstore, every big box store, accumulating as much alcohol as I could so we could mix our own here.
Oh, very cool. Very good.
So it's like I gathered as much as I could to make sure everybody had a way of sanitizing their hands. And we started looking at every contact surface in the plant that needed to be cleaned, getting procedures in place, posting everything, even to the point where a high contact surface, if we're washing our hands,
Right.
is a paper towel dispenser. We ordered brand new automated towel dispensers to reduce a contact point. So our goal was to make everybody feel as comfortable and safe as they could within our plant.
And what's interesting, because that is so other focused, that is like, okay, we want to protect our valuable resources. Those are the people. This is the reality that has hit us. Boom, let's execute. And did you have to shut down for any period of time?
We had a reduction in force and kept critical people in because our company falls within a group that we have food processing through one of our bigger customer, Vitamix, but we're also in infrastructure, military, also in the IT end. We make products that go to all the servers that are the rack servers for Facebook and Amazon, which they were seeing heavier loads. So we fell well within the essential business.
Oh, that is an absolute understatement. Now, that's a good segue into, give us a little background on LaserCraft, on what you provide. Now, I've got stuff that I'm not going to show right off the bat to anybody that's out there on the video because it's cool stuff, but we will venture into it. So go ahead. Little background on LaserCraft.
In 1988, we went to a company up in Massachusetts to an industrial applications of laser seminar, saw our first laser cut, and knew that there was a need for that within our industry. Two of my other partners are tool and die makers. So we had a small shop that built tools and dies and also did some light assembly.
Yep.
So we were one of two companies in Northeast Ohio that had a laser. So we were at the very beginning of the laser cutting process. Because the machines are so flexible, we fit into so many different industry groups. We can cut. We actually started cutting for lighting companies.
Right.
A local company named Diamond Products. We cut the cores that they use for drilling through concrete. Again, put us in that essential industry category.
Yep.
We took the risk, bought the first machine, owner operated for the first 2.5 years. So, I worked my GM job on second shift and LaserCraft during the day for 2.5 years.
A common story for entrepreneurs.
Until we hired our first employee.
No way.
Who's still with me. He's been
No
with
way.
me for 31 years. Second guy I hired came to us out of the military. He was a maintenance crew chief on a flight of A-10 Warthogs. And now he takes care of all of
That's
our
testosterone.
all of our high-tech lasers. You take my top, one of my true prides, not beyond the business, is you take our top 15 people, they've been with me for over 20 years. So we've made opportunities, but we retain our people.
Yeah, and how many people work for LaserCraft?
We currently have 52 employees.
52. My goodness. Okay, Dale, this is going to be thrown at you just because. Now, we're talking lasers. We're talking about, it's not, I don't come out of technical college with a laser capability. Like this is cutting edge. This is innovative stuff. And it is, why is laser technology important in this particular application?
I think the versatility of it. We can cut tubes, we can cut flat material, we can cut three-dimensional products, and if you want 1 or 1 million of them, we can do it. So there's a lot of, you don't have a lot of tooling to set up. You're not making an expensive punching die or fixtures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, you can react quickly to a customer.
So speed is a good component of this particular application, which is, so I'm putting on my, cutting torch hat, my other time. What about waste? So if I'm taking a stock of some sort and I'm using a laser application, is there a limitation to the thickness, right? Versus, okay, we can only go here. And then I would imagine the level of waste is probably minimized too as well. So optimization of that piece, is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, I mean, part of my job is to max material utilization. So you try to fit as many parts on that workpiece as possible without getting them too close together, because there is a heat element
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
So the thicker materials heat up more, so you have to leave a certain amount of spacing. But there's also great nesting opportunities, because if you're cutting a large circle...
Hold it. You just threw out a term, and my mind went to a nest in a tree. What is nesting? And then go into that.
The way you lay the parts out on the sheet of material.
Very good, very good.
So if you have a bunch of big circles, there's that area in between that you can use if you have another smaller part. And being a job shop, we can combine different orders from different shapes and stuff to utilize that dead zone, if you will.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's just good thinking on your part, absolutely. Now, is there a limitation? Like, if I came in with, the big, thick piece of steel, is that a limit? What is the limitation to that application, laser application?
Well, currently we have 6,000 watt fiber lasers that'll cut up to 1 inch thick. We typically stay around the ½ inch thick just because of loading and unloading. But we're moving more and more into automation. So
loading and unloading from a weight perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So if you have a very large piece, you don't want your operator bending way over the table and trying to pick up a 300-pound thing, piece of...
Wouldn't work.
Yeah. So you have to have the right equipment so that people work safely, as well as...
So it's a balance. That's good.
Right. In between too thick of material, as well as, I guess, just... having the right the right unloading equipment is what I was talking
because
about.
you've got to think through the whole process. It's just like if I came in and I have my hat on and I'm saying, all right, LaserCraft, I got this thing. It looks like this, and I need 100 of them. Whatever. I'm just throwing out a number, and you go into LaserCraft goes into great. That's a great idea. What's the material? What do we do? How do we lay it out? And then you have all that capability. It's turnkey for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't, I can come to you guys and say, I got to get this, and boom, it's turnkey. I don't have to go anywhere.
Well, I mean, and the thing we find too is some people they have their design, but you can't manufacture it. So we come up with ways to say, if you change this or make it a two-piece assembly, then it'll be easier to manufacture. It could save you, don't make it out of 4 different materials if you can make it out of 2.
Yeah, see, so that's that value add that you guys can provide manufacturers or businesses, and I would imagine it's not just Northeast Ohio, right? I mean, I can probably be down in Louisiana, which I am, and then call you guys and say I got a part, which I can, and then I just mail it to you, and then you guys value add and say, hey Scott, 75 pieces. And you can add to that, right? It doesn't really matter geographically. You can handle that.
And we get customers down in South Carolina. We've shipped parts out to California. So a lot of people come to us because the quality of our workmanship and our experience. You can buy a new machine, but it doesn't come with 32 years of laser experience.
Right.
So we ship parts all over the country, but the majority of our customers are here in the local Northeast Ohio area.
It's too convenient, just FYI, because because what you're doing, and I'm in a conference room. And a conference room is just got a bunch of cool little things. The clock on the table there, I'm sure you guys sort of made that. Did you make that clock?
It looks like we could have.
I'm just going to I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say, they made a clock. Yeah. But I do have in hand, if you're out there on the video, that I can see this, whatever this is. It looks like a bottle opener for maybe beer. However, it's got this, what's interesting is how precise that laser cutting can be. Yes. And how small on this particular stock, I would imagine stainless.
Correct.
You guys are pretty dazzled by the fact that I knew it was stainless. Yes. No, just because it's not doing anything else and it's got some weight. Anyway, that's what's interesting about that. And then you can program this, and it's a really interesting, just example of the capabilities of a laser cutter.
A lot of what we talk about with our facility, with the different types of machines we have, is a customer comes to us, we can provide more options than just a basic shop. We have full fabricating capabilities, laser cutting, in tube, 5-axis, and flat. It makes us a very unique organization.
Again, and especially today, let's just be candid here. pre-virus, okay, you might be able to sort of, hey, I can go here, do this. I can invest time and energy and effort. But there is a sense of comfort knowing that I can go to, and a desire that I can focus in on my other problems. All I have to do is come to LaserCraft and say, hey, I got this and I need it done, and then just, drop and go. And then it comes back because of the high level of quality and professionalism that exists. It just makes sense.
Yes. Yeah,
that's comfort for me.
we find that time and time again. They want to go to an organization that can send them a completed part.
Yes. Well, Vitamix. I like this Ninja Star for my Vitamix. That's also a laser produced product.
That part, we laser cut the shape. We have our own machining centers here that machine the cutting edge on the part. We built the tooling in-house that does the forming operation. We send it out for heat treat and electropolish, and we use a laser etcher to etch the customer's logo and information.
I was just getting ready. I was just going to say, and it has their name on it, which is just really pretty doggone cool.
Every blade we produce has their logo, part number, and the month we manufactured it for warranty purposes. So we're able to manage all those operations within our facility.
Now, I had the fortunate opportunity to interview Jody with Vitamix. That is one company that's passionate about their products.
Yes.
Do you have a Vitamix in here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Does it dim the lights because it's so powerful? Turn it on. I'm going to make a shake. Boom. And then one last piece of equipment here. I don't know what this is, but it is cool. I don't know what it. Anyway, if you're out on video, it's all cut by laser from one piece of stock, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I keep going and you say, Scott, that's a bunch of BS. And then you create it in such a way, or designed it in such a way that I can put it around and then connect it, and then of course you put some stuff on it. That's pretty doggone cool.
It's very useful when you're showing a customer what our tube cutting systems can do, because it's like they look at that and say, well, I'm not really asking you to do anything you haven't already accomplished with this.
So, on another note, which is pretty doggone cool, quite frankly, I'm amazed at it. If I'm a young individual and I'm listening to you guys talk about that, and I want to get into lasers, and I want to do that, and what you had me at hello in a sense. Where do you just recommend that I go to learn more, to grow, to figure out how I would fit into this particular opportunity? Because you're innovative, you're out there, right? From lasers, you're out there.
As far as younger people looking for careers within the manufacturing we're doing now, I was asked once, where do you find a good laser operator?
Yes.
I says, really can't find them. You have to build them yourself. So everyone within our facility has been trained about laser cutting by LaserCraft. Dale is actually the only employee we've ever had at LaserCraft that had previous laser experience.
You looked at his resume. The laser.
Yes.
Can you come on board there, Dale?
But we're seeing for younger people. Just the other day we had technicians in from two different companies that we buy our machine tools from.
Yes.
And it was interesting that I looked, and they had their mechanical skills, but each of them had a laptop open, and they were doing their diagnostics through a laptop. So a mechanic's job is changing in the field, where they need the computer skills to go along with their mechanical skills.
Good point. Good point.
We have a young man that's working for us now. He was trained for 2 weeks in Chicago on one of our newest machines, our latest investment in technology. It's said to be the youngest man ever to be trained on this piece of equipment. I had to send my two best up there. He was one of them, and Dale Hawkinson was the other.
That's amazing.
He's going to be managing a $1.8 million piece of equipment because he shows the aptitude and he has the background. But he's also going to be with LaserCraft taking his classes to get his engineering degree, and it's all tuition reimbursed. So he'll get his degree with zero debt and a job. And a very cutting-edge, innovative type job that is challenging each and every day. I mean, there probably are projects that you say, oh yeah, we got that. But it's probably the real thrill and the excitement comes when somebody comes in and saying, I'm thinking about this. And you're like, yeah, I think we can probably help you out. Let's help
fabricate and pull that whole information together to come up with a solution. That is pretty doggone. And one last question I'm going to ask you guys, because I can. Now, we talked a little bit about COVID, right? We talked about how did LaserCraft sort of help in producing maybe some PPEs and get pulled into that?
Two projects we were working on, one of which was a pretty simple application, but it became very necessary. It was a mounting bracket for surface mounting or wall mounting hand sanitizer containers. So it makes them more accessible to anywhere they needed to be. What seems like a simple item becomes very, very important. And then we also worked with a local company named LaserCraft, who we got associated with because they're a supplier also to Vitamix, and working on the first prototypes of a ventilator that's currently going to be on its way down to Houston for testing, designed by NASA and the JPL lab. So we were very proud to be working on that.
You know what always fascinates me about these things is how you can adapt quickly, pivot, be nimble and agile when a situation occurs such as this, which is fascinating to me. I like that. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up. You can hear the music coming on in. That was a fantastic interview. I want you guys, the listeners out there, to take note. Greg Claycomb. Sorry about that. I just started to roll that together. And I got Dell Hawkins easy because I spelled that name. Anyway, LaserCraft is a company. They are doing stuff that are just absolutely spot-on innovative. And they're solutions, baby. They're solutions in this particular challenging world, and they're just creating, success. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much for joining the Industrial Talk Podcast. Hey, if I do want to get in contact with you, can I just reach out to LinkedIn?
Sure can.
You respond?
Oh,
I'll hold you to it.
Of course I will.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'll hold you to it. Don't let me down. All right, you listeners, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Every contact piece of information we'll have on the Industrial Talk Podcast. Thank you very much for joining. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Again, thank you very much for joining the Industrial Talk Podcast as we celebrate the heroes of manufacturing. LaserCraft, Inc. is the company. They're out of Northeast Ohio. Wonderful people. Greg Claycomb and Dale Hawkinson. I think I mispronounced his name in the interview, so make a note of that. That's Hawkinson. I'm human. I'll make those mistakes. All right, and you're asking yourself, Scott, how do I get involved? You go out to heroesofmanufacturing.com, and you recommend somebody that you want to just celebrate in the Heroes of Manufacturing because they were doing a great job. They're making our lives better. That's what this platform is all about. Or you can just go to theindustrialtalk.com, find this particular interview, and just nominate somebody there. I'd be more than happy to talk to them. Thank you very much again. I want you to be bold. I want you to be brave. I want you to dare greatly. I want you to really be passionate about changing the world. That's what the Heroes of Manufacturing is all about. So thank you very much. Be safe. And we will have another great interview right around the corner.